Guys, deluded, I'm back again. YouTube's N'Golo Kante, YouTube's Lucas Torreira. Thank you for tuning back into the best YouTuber ever. But moving on now, Arsenal versus Manchester City. I mean, I've said it enough times in enough vids now. If you haven't watched it already, we lost 2-0. And there's a lot to ponder. We can't draw too many conclusions like I've been saying in numerous vids. And when I was looking at my comments, I mean, I was seeing a lot of conclusions being drawn in regards to tactics and things like that. We knew, well, clearly some people didn't. If you knew, I'm not saying we're going to beat Barcelona or we're going to win everything or we're going to do a Madrid or we're even going to do what Chelsea did when Conte won the league, in the sense that they were rubbish for one half of the season and then did a madness. I don't know. Obviously, I would love to, but I don't know if we're going to do that. I'm not here to say we're going to do that. But what I do know is that you need to give a fair chance to Unai Emery. No one was calling for him out. They were just questioning the tactics. And I mean, I even done a misleading headline, but I got to grab attention, people. But yeah, you can't be naive. Pre-season, a couple of weeks is not enough time to implement a way of playing and stuff. It's a way to see improvement, and I did think we actually saw a way, a willingness from the players to trying to buy into what Emery is trying to do. I think we did very well in the midfield for around 60 minutes or so. But again, in compacting the midfield, not allowing much to happen. But obviously, once we scored, a lot of that went out of. Once they scored, sorry, a lot of that went out of the window. The one time they obviously went through the middle, they scored their second goal, really and truly. Obviously, allowing, in fact, even the first goal, just allowing man inside. But on the willingness of trying to do that and solidify the midfield and a way of playing and stuff like that, I was impressed. People will say City's lack of concentration gifted us chances, and it's true, it did, but we were pressing quite high, and again, it's early to be praising the pressing and stuff, but again, a lot of their mistakes, or a lot of our success in the game, if you could say that, because we lost 2-0, came via our pressing. So I saw a willingness to press, and I saw a compact midfield of sorts. So I kind of liked what I was seeing. The playing out from the back, it's admirable how the players are making mistakes and things like that to a degree, and they're still being brave enough to try it. I like that. That's bravery and stuff. But again, you want us to be a bit street smart and recognise when these things are happening, and then start. And obviously, there's question marks over the personnel, like check that some people are having specifically in regards to ball playing. There's that. For me, the confidence was very high in the beginning, in the first 10 minutes, very high, even in patches in the game, but it was very high in the first 10 minutes. We were getting at them and stuff like that. It's not Unai Emery's fault because he wasn't here, but it's like as soon as we scored, we went down a notch, and that mental block probably needs to come out of our play, because it was 1-0 down, but for me, I don't say the players hid, because I don't feel that's fair, but it just felt, for me, it felt like they were resigned to defeat, in the sense that they thought that it was 4 or 5 at a time. Like, they were nervous with, as soon as we scored, we're forcing it going forward. We just appeared nervous, in my opinion, innit? So yeah, I felt the fullbacks, we need to probably work on, if we're going to be this compact by design, we need to work on defending in wide areas. At times, I think Ozil did all right there, definitely better than Mkhitaryan, but both guilty of going inside. Well, they were clearly told to go inside in midfield and compact it. But probably for our fullbacks, definitely make Ronaldo's on the pitch. You're getting caught 2 versus 1 with Kyle Walker and Mahrez. Bellerin, obviously, it happened to him a couple of times, and then obviously when the ball fell to Sterling, he obviously scored. So we need to improve defensively in wide areas, both in midfield, pressing from the front a bit better. Someone in midfield either tucking in to help the fullbacks or something like that. It's not a critique at the players. I just feel we could do a bit better there, because we've always had problems in wide areas, and that looks like it could be the same if we don't. And on top of that, we need to probably follow our runners to a degree. So yeah, they were probably the areas I saw for improvement. Probably you want to see a bit more confidence and probably create a bit more clear-cut chances for ourselves. Probably need to find a way when it comes to Mkhitaryan, Ozil and Ramsey. I don't feel Ozil played poorly. I feel Mkhitaryan and Ramsey did, especially Ramsey, in my opinion. I think we need to find a way of either one has to come out of the side, or we need to find a way of getting the best out of them, because I felt Ozil's gameplay was sacrificed yesterday and he did quite well. Mkhitaryan did quite well initially and then slipped into old habits, while Ramsey was nowhere to be seen, if I'm completely being honest with you. I think it can work, but these are just some certain things I saw. Again, it's going to take time. We can't draw too many conclusions. Again, some of these players have been playing this way or not actively thinking a different way for years. So it's going to take a while to get them out of that brainwash mentality. So 5 to 10 games is what I'm giving them, and more, in fact, probably around the December period. Now, I'm not saying that we must sit and accept nonsense until then, but it's not fair to judge a man based on this one game and judge a man based on Pep Guardiola. To be fair, you can say these are the games that make the difference, and you could to a degree, but I'd say probably the second time we face them would be a better time to be harsh on Unai Emery. So yeah, I liked what I saw, but I do think the fullbacks offensively, in terms of putting in crosses and stuff, like, apart from Maitland-Niles here and there, and Bellerin's one where he had an effort against Edison, I can't remember too many chances they actually created. So I always felt our fullbacks are a bit beat. Not maybe even if you're not looking at an ability thing on the other sides, in that, you know, Walker and the other left back, Mendy, got an assist. They're getting goals and assists. Well, not goals, but you get one going. Liverpool's fullbacks aren't afraid to cross and get forward in Trent Arnold and Robertson. Spurs, it's not Walker and Rose anymore, but their fullbacks still get forward. You see what I'm saying, people? I just want to see a bit more from our fullbacks on a general basis, not a criticism. If it was me, I probably would have started Lacazette, because I don't think Aubameyang's general play is necessarily bad, but it's not the greatest. He's got technical play, he'll come and stretch teams here and there, but he's not about that. He's about the last man. I get the gameplay with Ramsey and Aubameyang, it was for quick decision making and things like that. It weren't really a thing with that. But I feel Aubameyang and Lacazette, I'm not saying you have to play them together every game, but for me, it just felt yesterday was a game to play both of them, and we should probably play with both of them game in, game out. Because Lacazette wants to drop deep and stuff like that, and a lot of defenders follow him. That creates space for Aubameyang. You saw how Aubameyang and Lacazette, well, you saw an improvement in Aubameyang's link-up play when Lacazette came on. The problem now, obviously, is if both of them on the pitch and we go behind, who comes off the bench to make anything happen? There's not really any wingers there. Eddie's my guy, but he's still a young guy. Can't really place any unrealistic expectation. If Wells is on the bench, fair enough, but Wells is Wells. So, yeah. Probably fix it. For me, the only criticism is probably playing out the back, recognise when we can do it and when we can't, and probably getting doubled up on against on the flanks is probably the areas I'm most concerned about. But I don't want to mix my words. I don't want to get excited because it was a defeat at the same time, but it was a more positive defeat in my opinion. Anyways, that's why I'm not kind of mad. It was, like someone said in my comments, it was an acceptable loss if you can accept a loss. There was a lot of things we could have done well. We did okay in. There's a lot of stuff we clearly could have done better. We lost 2-0. We shot ourselves in the foot. And by the same degree, again, it is the same old Arsenal in the sense that you can say we played well in patches, we did several things, but we let ourselves down for 2 of the goals. 2 of the goals were cheap goals. We allowed, after so much work, we allowed Sterling to just cut in and have a dig. Cool. We got hit on a counter against for the second goal when numerous players could have brought him down. It's about recognising these sort of things. It's about seeing a picture before it's been painted. And I don't feel, again, Unai Emery's working on it, but I don't feel these players are active thinkers like that in a sense yet. In a sense that they're not cynical enough, in my opinion. So yeah, man, we can't draw too many conclusions. Unai Emery's still the man in my opinion. He's not been helped with these 2 games. I would love to beat Chelsea, but it could get gazy if we have 2 weeks, 0 points. We hope for a point. We pray for a win. It is what it is, man. I like how I'm buying into what I've clearly bought into what Unai Emery is doing. Prepared to give him a chance. And yeah, man, people just need to calm down with their conclusions and things like that. Guys, deluded. Get in the comments, subscribe, and do the rest if you wish. I'm out.